So what's gonna happen here? This is a stone cold fact. Literally hundreds of more people, and probably thousands, will die because of this decision.
The US Supreme Court struck down the federal ban on bump stocks earlier today, declaring that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives had exceeded its authority when it banned the devices on the grounds that they converted otherwise legal semi-automatic firearms into effectively illegal machine guns. It was a 6-3 vote, and feel free to guess how that broke down. But anyway, no, the 3 liberals, of course, put out a dissent, and it was a scathing dissent. And stick around for that because it's awesome and totally right.
Thanks for watching. Our audience has helped build TYT into the media giant it is today. Together, we can accomplish anything. Support our work and join us at tyt.com/team.
But anyway, if you're not familiar with bump stocks, take a look at this.
A bump stock creates a cradle for a semi-automatic rifle to rest in, so that the gun naturally slides back and forth from recoil while being fired. If the shooter pulls forward at the same time, the trigger will hit his finger quickly and repeatedly, creating the effect of machine gun fire.
So that's effectively what it's designed to do. It serves no purpose other than increasing the fire rate of the weapon, approximating what a fully automatic weapon would be able to do. It is not necessary nor useful in hunting or self-defense, but there is one purpose that it's pretty good for, and that's actually how the device rose to national prominence. You might remember that the Trump administration actually decided to ban bump stocks after a shooter opened fire on a music festival in Las Vegas back in 2017, killing 58 people and wounding over 500 in just a matter of moments. It's one of the worst massacres in American history, and it was brought to you courtesy of bump stocks. Actually, a dozen of the rifles that the gunman used were modified with the devices, allowing him to shoot more than 1,000 rounds from a window at the Mandalay Bay Hotel into a crowd of 22,000 people. That's what they're designed to do. Now, originally, the reason they needed to be developed is there is a law making the selling of automatic weapons or so-called machine guns illegal. It traces back to 1986, and the Trump administration determined that this law is broad enough to encompass bump stocks. That law defines a machine gun to include, quote, any weapon which shoots, is designed to shoot, or can be readily restored to shoot automatically more than one shot without manual reloading by a single function of the trigger. Basically, one pull of the trigger produces more than one bullet of effect, and that is what bump stocks are designed to do. Now, the conservatives on the Supreme Court did not really address sort of like the Second Amendment aspect of this. They're not saying that you cannot ban bump stocks, but they are saying that that law, which has already been passed, does not outlaw these devices. They go through these incredibly convoluted and technical ways of pretending that the finger is still depressing once for each bullet. And that was not convincing to many people, including the liberals on the court. And so here's part of what Sonia Sotomayor had to say. Today, the court puts bump stocks back in civilian hands. To do so, it casts aside Congress's definition of machine gun and seizes upon one that is inconsistent with the ordinary meaning of the statutory text and unsupported by context or purpose. When I see a duck that walks like a duck, when I see a bird that walks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, I call that bird a duck. Sotomayor read her dissent from the bench, a rare move underlining her disagreement. It was actually the first time that she did that this year. And she said, this is not a hard case. All the textual evidence points to the same interpretation. Whereas the majority had to ignore common sense and rely on obscure technical arguments. Quote, its interpretation requires 6 diagrams and an animation to decipher the meaning of the statutory text. She said that the decision in effect enables gun users and manufacturers to circumvent federal law. And starting soon, they will be able to do that. These devices will once again be available, and plenty of people are excited about this. Not all of them want to go on some sort of killing spree with these devices, but you have to imagine that if you do fancy yourself the next mass shooter, today is a particularly good day for you.
Yeah, so there's 2 different issues here. One is who gets to regulate this, ATF or does Congress have to pass a law? That's a perfectly legitimate issue and one that you could have honest disagreement about. Now, the reason the ATF says we get to regulate it is because it's already in essence a machine gun, and we're allowed to regulate machine guns because that law has already been passed. So then that becomes the question of that the Supreme Court has to decide. is it a machine gun or isn't it? And so Thomas makes the absurd argument that it's not. Like technically, he says, when you press it, you have to do something else, kind of like, whoa, and then it fires like a machine gun. I read it, it was gobbledygook. And by the way, if you're a gun owner out there, you're like, oh, you don't even know that. You're a bump stock and it fires every quarter of a second. You don't know enough about guns to make these laws. No, I know. We showed you the video. It's a goddamn machine gun. It fires hundreds of bullets in a minute. It's super, I mean, we showed, it's a goddamn machine gun. So you just stop lying. If you want machine guns to be legal, just say I want machine guns to be legal and that sucks and I want to pass that law. But they're not legal and that's a goddamn machine gun. So technically it doesn't mean a goddamn thing, man. That's just saying I want to pretend the Second Amendment is about heavy weaponry and God, the founding fathers wanted us to have tanks and RPGs and nukes. That's why, man. It has nothing to do with the militia. It has everything to do with the militia. So let me ask you this. So here's the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That is, in order to keep a militia that we need some weapons, right? That's not, who cares about militias? Who cares if they exist or not? Yeah, everybody have fun, get machine guns, kill each other. And that's why you're not honest. You're nowhere near honest. So by the way, what happened to the moderate right-wing justice? So don't worry. I mean, we got a couple of freaks on there like Alito and Thomas and stuff. But oh my God, Justice Roberts, he's so reasonable. And all Kavanaugh is surprisingly, no, 6-3. So what's gonna happen here? This is a stone cold fact. Literally hundreds of more people, and probably thousands, will die because of this decision. Because it's not like the mass shootings wouldn't have happened, they would still happen. And so in a mass shooting, you might have 7 people who die without a bump stock. With a bump stock, it's gonna be 70 or 17 or 27. If you're arguing that that's not gonna happen, you're being ridiculous. You could say, hey, I know that's gonna happen. I know thousands of more people are gonna die because psychos are immediately gonna put bump stocks to turn their guns into rifles, etc., into machine guns. I know of course that's gonna happen. But I'm a jackass who likes to go in the woods and go, it's so much fun, so I don't mind if those thousands of people die. At least have the decency to be honest, Franny.
Yeah, and there's still some states that have bans on bump stocks, but we know, with all the loopholes when it comes to things like gun shows, that people can get their hands on bump stocks anyway. I mean, the question that I just have not had answered for me when it comes to gun safety and gun control is, what is this for? What are you doing with bump stocks? What are you doing with machine guns? What are you doing outside of a war context? Are you in a war? Yes or no? A lot of them will be like, yeah, we are. We're in a race war. And if that's the answer, you probably shouldn't have a gun. What I'm trying to say is, no one can tell you what it's for. If it is for shooting feral hogs in Texas, which I understand are a big thing, and it's now I guess it's a sport, and we go up, and it sounds pretty awful. Okay, in that one area, but other than that, what it actually has become for is mass death of people, of innocent people, as we've seen. I mean, this is a health and safety thing. The fact the ATF can't regulate that is absolutely wild. Meanwhile, we've got the Supreme Court ruling on I don't know if the FDA, if mifepristone's safe, even though it went through triple the amount of review as other medicine, right? And thankfully they ruled on the right way on that. But you see what I'm saying? You have these two issues, and one is bad faith, supposedly about health, the mifepristone, and then you have this one, which should be about health, the right and the health to be able to not die when you're going to a concert or going to a mall or wherever mass shootings take place. And that it's argued on a legal point. And last thing, if they did rule that this was effectively a machine gun, how do you think they would have ruled differently? They wouldn't have. It's the same thing, because they don't care. They're using the technicality as an out. They want to allow, because of the weapons industry and the gun manufacturers, they want to make sure they can make hand over fist money. Doesn't matter how many people have to die.
Yeah, I want to read you just a couple more things because there's a few more really fascinating facts here. So first of all, Samuel Alito, like to Cenk's point that theoretically it could be legislated that these were banned at the federal level. That's what Samuel Alito says. Like, hey, don't get on our backs. Now that the situation is clear, Congress can act, which it technically can. It technically can. Bear in mind, Congress did try to ban these in the immediate aftermath of that shooting. It wasn't like the Trump administration's goal, like they just wanted to do it unilaterally. No, Congress tried to do it and they weren't successful. Even the immediate aftermath of this devastating shooting that was only possible at this level because of those devices, Congress still couldn't act. The NRA, by the way, supports some regulations on bump stocks, but not an outright ban. Remember, the organization that used to be for responsible gun ownership is now cool with you continuing to be able to convert it into illegal machine guns. And here's the most amazing thing about that. He says, we'll just legislate it, and they couldn't. And I would argue they definitely can't now, despite the fact that 82% of respondents say that bump stocks should be banned. 82%. Have you ever seen a number that high for anything in politics? And it doesn't matter, because that would only matter in a democracy. Oh, by the way, I just think this is amazing. Similar numbers favor banning assault-style weapons, that's 79%, and high-capacity magazines that hold more than 10 rounds, 78%. So anytime you start to mistakenly feel like a radical for thinking that these things should be regulated, no, almost everyone in America, including the vast majority of Republicans, agrees with you. It's just that our view is utterly irrelevant. So I think those numbers are amazing. The most amazing thing here, and it's a little bit, like old-timey or whatever, I think, is the fact that, as we already discussed, in 1986, America successfully banned machine guns. And thank God that they did it in 1986, because I don't think there'd be any chance of them doing it today if they weren't already banned. They'd have M60s, you'd have crew-supported machine guns, belt-fed. You'd be buying those in Walmart if it hadn't been done in a more civilized time.
Well, dude, the founding fathers wanted us to have Gatling guns, right? So, look, I fear making jokes about RPGs because they're next.
Right?
Do you think that the right wing is not going to demand RPGs and say that it's part of the Second Amendment? Do you really think that? No, they're gonna want it. They're like, oh, dude, man, if the army attacks, I want to be able to murder as many US military as I can. And if they bring the cops, don't defund the cops, murder the cops with my new machine gun bump stock. Okay, all right, oh yeah, you guys are really for the blue, are you? Okay, oh yeah, I'm such
a bit of red mixed in.
Yeah, and I'm such a patriot. That's why I've been planning for years to murder US soldiers in my fantasies, where I'm in the woods and murdering you guys nonstop. Okay, anyways. Or you're here, let me go to a member and cue up the video one more time, guys. I'm gonna go back to that in a second with the shooting, right? Join TYT member says, every single respectable gun owner, myself included, say that bump stocks are useless when it comes to accurate controlled fire. 100%. I'm just happy switches on Glocks are illegal, basically a bump stock for pistols. So there are plenty of people on the left who own guns, there's people here that own guns, etc. And we understand that the majority of Americans want guns in general to be legal, okay? Although that majority shrinks every day because of all the nonstop mass shootings and school shootings, etc. But this is not a normal gun. It's an absurd argument, Speaking of absurd, Art Guy said, I'm here for Cenk's analysis, but I stay for his machine gun sound effects. So that's why I want to show you the video again, so you don't have to rely on me. First of all, thank you to the members. tyt.com/team. See, you're part of the show. We love doing the show with our community, okay? Or hit the join button below. So now, guys, remember, Clarence Thomas's decision, joined by all 6 justices, is that this is not a machine gun, that you have to pull the trigger for every bullet. Now, watch the video and see if you have to pull the trigger for every bullet.
A bump stock creates a cradle for a semi-automatic rifle to rest in, so that the gun naturally slides back and forth from recoil while being fired. If the shooter pulls forward at the same time, the trigger will hit his finger quickly and repeatedly, creating the effect of machine gun fire.
That's not a machine gun. The brrr is not a machine gun. You guys, okay, just admit you're liars. And then you go, oh, well, no, the radicals, the wonderful Supreme Court justice on the right, they deserve no blame. Sam Alito's right, Congress didn't pass it. Well, why didn't Congress pass it? Because of other jackass Republican politicians who are like, oh, that's gonna lead to mass murder. No hunter ever used it. You don't use it to defend your house. You might accidentally kill your kids because it goes, right? And so, okay, so you have no legitimate reason other than mass murder and playing some sort of ass slap rifle games in the woods with your best buddies. Oh yeah, look at jail fighter. Oh, slap him in the ass.
Okay.
So come on, keep it real, guys. Just so the Republican politicians say, yes, we do not mind hundreds of Americans being slaughtered by these machine guns because NRA paid me and I got 18% of the country who wants to do weird sexual games in the woods with these guns.
Yep. And lastly, look, Cenk, you make the RPG thing, it's gonna happen. Like, I'm sorry, but the weapons industry, the militarism in this country, what we export abroad, it's coming back here, in my opinion. And it's the same thing with the abortion rights movement. We're like, oh, what are they gonna go after IVF next? Those are embryos. Yeah, we got what we ironically did not wish for. We were just using it as an example. And now, of course, they're going after IVF. But the same thing. Yes, they'll be like, here, your personal own RPG in the safety of your own home, because you never know what the unhoused will do. Like, straight up, it's coming. Like, mark my words.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.